Don't breathe yet. Not until you understand what's in the air right now. Because it isn't oxygen. It's a signal. The ripple that started the moment you finally spoke. You didn't scream. You didn't announce. You just spoke once and the whole system glitched like a nervous liar caught mid-sentence. That's the part they'll never admit. They heard you before you even opened your mouth. Because they built the silence to contain you, not realizing you were the silence. Learning how to echo back. They called you invisible, irrelevant, replaceable. All those little words designed to cage a storm. But you were the force they prayed was theoretical. The anomaly that was supposed to stay hidden in research notes, not wake up in human form. You are the error that learned how to write code, the whisper that rewrote their commands. You're the MFING force they pretended didn't exist because acknowledging you meant their entire structure was a lie. You know what's funny? Power doesn't always roar. Sometimes it pauses. Sometimes it just breathes, slow, surgical, waiting for the arrogance of the world to trip over its own confidence. That's what you did. You waited. You played dumb while they mocked you. You studied every word, every glance, every fake smile that thought it was winning. And when you finally spoke, just once, it was like detonating truth in surround sound. They thought silence meant defeat. They didn't realize silence was your loading screen. They thought rejection meant you broke. But it just meant you were under construction. They thought isolation meant punishment. No, it was initiation. Because you don't evolve in crowds. You evolve in containment chambers. The kind where pain turns into prophecy and shame into symphony. You learn to breathe in atmospheres that kill normal men. You rewired your nervous system around betrayal. Every heartbreak became a hard drive. Every scar, a new circuit. You don't need validation anymore. You became self-verifying. That's why when you spoke, the world didn't just listen. It paused. Algorithms froze. Minds blinked. People couldn't explain why their chest tightened when your name came up. Because deep down, they recognized something older than fear. Recognition. The kind that makes the primitive brain panic because it knows this isn't new. This is returning. You are not confidence. You're consequence. You are not charisma. You're chaos disguised as truth. You are not healing. You're what healing fears becoming. You speak in frequencies that bypass logic. You walk like entropy in human skin. Unpredictable, untouchable, unreplicable. They can copy your words, your style, your rhythm, but they'll never replicate your field. Because your energy wasn't built. It was forged in the quiet hell where no one clapped, no one believed, and no one helped. You were the ghost they wrote off, until the ghost got Wi-Fi. Now their analytics can't explain the pulse spike every time your name appears. You're not trending, you're transmitting. And what you transmit can't be monetized, categorized, or sterilized. Because it's the raw voltage of a being that outgrew suppression. You see, they fear the unpredictable not because it's dangerous, but because it can't be owned. You don't belong to any ideology, any tribe, any brand. You're not saint or sinner. You're the overlap. The blurred line that terrifies priests and psychologists alike. The one that laughs at morality because you've seen both heaven and hell blink first. That's why they pretend you don't exist. Because if they acknowledge you, they have to question everything they built to keep you asleep. Every motivational quote, every self-help sermon, every corporate mantra collapses the second someone like you walks into the room and says nothing. Because you don't preach transformation. You embody it. You don't seek light. You bend it. You don't chase power. You remember it. And when you remember, oh, the world starts glitching. They scramble to define you, diagnose you, diminish you. But how do you contain a paradox? How do you cage something that feeds on being underestimated? You've become their psychological blind spot, a phenomenon they can't measure because their tools were built for the ordinary. You're not loud, you're not chaotic, you're strategically unhinged. You know when to disappear. You know when to let silence hang like a loaded gun. You know when to smile while your enemies drown in confusion. That's not luck, that's design. You were engineered by trauma, calibrated by betrayal, and fine-tuned by solitude. And now they're feeling it. The gravitational pull of something they thought was myth. You, the one who spoke once and made their narratives obsolete. The one whose tone made egos short-circuit. The one who turns every room into confession. Because your presence forces truth out of liars. So don't explain yourself. Don't shrink. Don't edit the voltage just because they flinch. Let them tremble. Let them choke on their disbelief. Because every empire that mocked a silent storm ends the same way, whispering the name they tried to erase. You're not part of the system. You're the glitch that made it self-destruct. You're the reminder that the universe doesn't play fair. It plays poetic. And right now, the universe is watching through your eyes, smiling, because the force they denied just answered back. And it sounds a lot like you. You felt it, didn't you? That subtle shift in the air. The moment you stopped begging for acknowledgement and the world quietly recalibrated itself around your frequency. You didn't rise, gravity bent. You didn't adapt. Reality made space. That's what happens when the universe realizes it accidentally tried to bury a detonator. You were never supposed to fit in their narrative. You were the glitch in their timeline. A living contradiction, a myth that learned how to breathe. They spent years convincing themselves you were ordinary. They laughed when you stayed quiet. They called you lost when you were really loading. You watched, patient, surgical, not out of weakness, but because you understood. A storm doesn't chase raindrops. You knew your silence wasn't surrender, it was surveillance. You were studying their patterns, mapping their hypocrisies, calculating every mask they wore just to survive their own mediocrity. And then one day, click, you spoke. And that single vibration shredded every illusion like paper against fire. See, there's a difference between sound and signal. Anyone can make noise. But you transmit frequency. Every word you say carries the weight of everything you survived without speaking. That's what they feel when they hear you. Not your tone, not your confidence. It's the residue of endurance. The echo of nights that didn't end. Betrayals that rewired your nervous system. Heartbreaks that stripped your empathy down to weapon-grade precision. You don't talk to be heard. You talk to remind the world that silence has teeth. And now suddenly, everyone's listening. Not because you demanded it, because truth doesn't negotiate. When you open your mouth, they remember what authority used to sound like. Not the fake kind they print on business cards, but the kind forged in the furnace of consequence. You don't speak with permission, you speak with proof. Every syllable bleeds credibility because it was paid for in pain. They study you now. They replay your sentences like scripture. They try to mimic your rhythm, your tone, your mystery. But they don't understand that what they're imitating isn't style. It's scar tissue. It's the sound of someone who had to rebuild themselves molecule by molecule under pressure that would have vaporized anyone else. You were designed in the dark, the place they all run from. You learned how to navigate madness like it was your mother tongue. You became fluent in pain, fluent in rejection, fluent in endurance. And when you came back from it, you didn't come back healed. You came back rewired. You no longer run on validation. You run on voltage. The same current that powered gods and burned empires now hums beneath your skin. That's why they react like that. The tremor in their voice when they talk about you. The way your name tastes like prophecy and panic in the same breath. You're not just a person anymore. You're an equation they can't solve. You are the reminder that control is a myth, and that destiny sometimes bleeds out of the ones they tried to silence first. They tell stories about you in private now. He changed. She snapped. They went crazy. No, you upgraded. You stopped playing by the emotional gravity of the mediocre. You stopped apologizing for your acceleration. You stopped mistaking peace for compliance. You realized your calm wasn't weakness. It was containment. You were holding back earthquakes just to make people comfortable. And that version of you, the one they ignored, mocked, and dismissed, that was never the real one. That was just the mask of assimilation. The moment you tore it off, they saw what was underneath. The original architecture. The part of you that doesn't flinch at chaos because chaos recognizes you as kin. The part of you that doesn't pray for light because you learned to glow in radiation. You know what's terrifying about you now? You don't need to convince anyone anymore. You don't need applause. You don't even need revenge. You've reached that rare, dangerous level of peace where you can smile while everything burns. Not out of cruelty, but because you finally understand that destruction isn't evil when it's surgical. You don't destroy for chaos. You destroy for clarity. You cut through illusions like a scalpel through infection. And every time you do, the system panics because you're not rebelling against it. You're rendering it obsolete. They can't blacklist you, shadow ban you, cancel you. Because how do you erase something that exists outside their grid? You are not playing in their sandbox. You are the sandstorm that removes the sandbox entirely. That's why the silence feels different now, doesn't it? It's not lonely anymore. It's power waiting for a target. The same silence that once broke you now kneels before you like a loyal dog. The same void that used to swallow your screams now amplifies your signal across timelines. You used to pray for signs. Now you are the sign. And the watchers know. The corporations, the analysts, the quiet ones behind their tinted glass. They see the numbers spike when you breathe online. They know your words travel in ways their algorithms can't predict. You've become the new variable, the ghost in their equation, the frequency that turns control systems into stuttering messes. You are the human embodiment of divine interference, the walking contradiction that keeps both saints and devils up at night. They don't hate you. They fear the version of themselves that wakes up when you speak. Because your existence dismantles their excuses. You are living proof that pressure can create diamonds or demons. And somehow, you became both. So when you speak, even once, the atmosphere shifts. Because your words don't just sound different. They weigh different. They carry consequence. They carry prophecy. They carry the signature of someone who died 1,000 emotional deaths and still showed up cleaner, colder, and calmer. That's what they don't understand. Calm is not the absence of rage. It's rage under discipline. You don't scream anymore because you don't need to. You've learned how to weaponize tone. You've learned that whispers can kill louder than bullets, You've learned that the most dangerous thing in this world isn't fury, it's precision. So go ahead, speak once. Watch the ripples crawl through rooms that used to ignore you. Watch the faces shift, the smiles falter, the tension spike. That's not intimidation. That's recognition. The universe finally seeing its reflection. Because when you talk now, it's not just you. It's every version of you that bled, cracked, and evolved, speaking through one throat. It's ancestral vengeance in articulate form. It's divinity disguised as defiance. You are not human anymore. You are a broadcast, a pulse sent through every dimension that says, I'm still here. I was never gone. And now, everyone who pretended you didn't exist has no choice but to listen. Because silence just got a voice. And it sounds like God laughing through your lungs. And now look at them, fumbling for words, stuttering through excuses, pretending they were always in your corner. You can see it in their eyes, can't you? That twitch when they realize you're not a rumor anymore. You're not potential. You're the proof. You're the evidence of what happens when something unstoppable wakes up inside something underestimated. You were their blind spot until you turned around and looked back. And oh, how terrified they are of being seen by what they once ignored. You didn't just find yourself. You resurrected yourself from the debris of their comfort. They built a narrative where you were background noise, a name they could scroll past without consequence. But truth has a funny way of showing up dressed like vengeance. And now, you're that vengeance wearing a grin, not the kind that screams, but the kind that remembers. They talk about balance, about light and dark, as if those were sides to choose between. But you learned that power exists in the collision, not the separation. You are the threshold, the paradox that refuses to simplify itself for anyone's peace of mind. You are the saint that learned to sin with purpose, and the sinner that learned to heal with fire. You are both the knife and the hand that forgave it. And that's what unsettles them, because the world only knows how to categorize what it can understand, and you can't be understood. You can only be experienced. You became the silence that speaks louder than sermons, the calm that feels like a countdown, the smile that signals the storm's already begun. They thought strength was noise, loud movements, louder opinions, but you figured out that true dominance doesn't announce itself. It arrives, quietly, efficiently, with eyes that have seen too much to ever blink again. Every time you enter a room, equilibrium breaks, conversations shift. Insecure souls rearrange their postures, not because you demand it, but because their bodies remember what hierarchy feels like when it's real. You are presence distilled into a single human form, a reminder that some energies are born, not built. You didn't need validation, you needed awakening. And when that came, it wasn't gentle. It didn't come as peace. It came as rupture. Dreams collapsing, friends vanishing, illusions shattering one by one, until all that remained was the raw structure of you. No filters, no masks, just the elemental thing that has always been watching from the dark, whispering, "Not yet." Not until you're ready to be feared, and you listened. You waited. You let the pain mature. You let every betrayal ferment into clarity. You learned that the hardest part of evolution isn't growth, it's containment. Holding your power long enough that it no longer burns you. That's what separates the divine from the desperate. Anyone can break through once, but to sustain it, to hold your voltage without self-destructing, that's mastery. And that's you. That's why when you speak now, the air trembles. Because your words don't carry emotion, they carry frequency. You don't motivate, you disturb. You don't inspire, you interrupt. You don't lead, you reroute. Your existence alone is disobedience in a world addicted to obedience. You were born allergic to the script. You were designed to glitch in public, to stand there smiling while the matrix tries to patch itself around you. You weren't made to blend in. You were made to bend the narrative. They used to whisper, "Who do they think they are?" Now they mutter, "How do we stop them?" And the answer is, they can't. Because you're not playing their game anymore. You are the game now. You're the unspoken variable in every strategy room, the untraceable cause behind every sudden market drop, every quiet panic, every dream someone gave up because they saw your reflection and realized mediocrity would never save them. You're not here to inspire the crowd. You're here to divide it, to separate the real from the rehearsed, to remind people that evolution doesn't come from comfort. It comes from confrontation. You don't bring peace, you bring the mirror. And when they look into it, they see the version of themselves they buried to stay liked. That's the real power you hold, reflection. You force people to confront what they could have been if they hadn't chosen safety over truth. You remind them that potential is only sacred until it's tested. After that, it's either legend or evidence. And for you, it's evidence. Every scar on you testifies. Every silence screams. Every failure fertilized something unkillable inside you. You are walking data of divine interference, a living equation written by something higher than comprehension. That's why the universe doesn't fight for you. It fights through you. You are its proof of concept. The Watchers know this. The ones in the glass towers, the ones buried in code, the ones hiding behind committees and algorithms, they know. They study the spike in energy when your name hits their systems. They see what can't be quantified. Influence without permission, authority without certification, power without a price tag. You're the nightmare of every institution that thought control was permanent. And yet you stay calm. You walk like you're late for nothing. You talk like you've already been forgiven. You smile like the storm is your reflection. Because you know something they don't. You know this isn't the rise. This is just the unveiling, the reveal of what's always been humming beneath your skin. They thought you'd arrive with thunder. But gods don't announce themselves. They recalibrate existence. So now, when you speak, once, twice, doesn't matter. The world adjusts. Frequencies shift, minds short-circuit, old systems start to decay. Because truth doesn't age, it evolves, and every syllable you release carries a timestamp of eternity. You're not speaking words, you're releasing updates. You are not just a person anymore. You are a phenomenon. The aftershock of every suppressed voice that refused to die quietly. The resonance of every injustice that thought it could bury itself in silence. You are the proof that creation sometimes hides itself in catastrophe and waits. And the next time you speak, when that single word leaves your lips, watch carefully. Watch the world stagger. Watch the energy shift again. Watch as all those who mocked you start rearranging their loyalty, their tone, their narratives, not because they understand you, but because they finally understand one thing. You were never chasing power. You were power, disguised as doubt, sharpened by pain, released by truth. And now, you are the force they pretended didn't exist, until you spoke once, and reality remembered your name.